Etsy sellers, welcome to how to improve your conversion rate. This is the definitive guide. I noticed there was a lack of decent guides about conversion rate on YouTube about Etsy, so here it is. Stick with me for the next 15-20 minutes. I don't know exactly how long this is going to be, but it is essential information. I'm going to break this down into two distinct sections. The first part of the video is going to be essential things you need to know about conversion rate, really useful information. The second half of the video is going to be 10 steps in detail on how to improve your conversion rate. If you watch this video and implement what I'm going to teach you, your conversion rate will go up. And if it doesn't go up, I want to know about it. Okay, so first of all, essential things you need to know. And the first thing, there's 7 things. The first thing you need to know about conversion rate is what is the definition of conversion rate and what is an example. So let me show you that. So definition of conversion rate is number of sales divided by number of visitors, right, times 100. Okay, so if you make one sale, right, you get 100 visits, right, that gives you 0.01 multiplied by 100 and your conversion rate is 1 or 1%, right? Super simple. So if you make 2 sales and you run through that equation, it'll be 2%. Super simple. You've got to know that. That's how you work out conversion rate. Sales divided by visitors times 100. And that's how we know what's going on in terms of how well people are converting on what you're selling, right? Which leads me to the second thing you need to know. And this is something that it doesn't matter what you sell, you need to aspire to, right? You're looking for a 2% conversion rate, okay? Now, let me be clear. It is fairly easy to get more than 2%. If your photography is good, your video is good, and I'm going to talk how you're going to improve your conversion rate later. It means out of every 100 visitors, you sell twice. Okay, that's your goal. If you're doing this, it means you're getting a lot in terms of your product, the presentation, the branding, the pricing. You're getting a lot of it right. Now on Etsy, the best sellers, so remember I deal with thousands and thousands of Etsy sellers, have done for the last 10 years. The best sellers are doing between about 3 and 7% conversion rate. Okay, so that's 3 to 7 sales for every 100 visits. That's hard. Okay, that is hard. You've got to be at the top of your game to get those numbers, but go and look in your store. You're looking for a 2% conversion rate, right? And let me give you another critical piece of information. If your conversion rate is under 1%, there are fundamental and significant structural problems in your store. Nobody should be earning a conversion rate under 1%. If you're between 1 and 2%, it means you're getting there, and it still means there are problems that need to be ironed out. But I work with stores all the time. Every week, conversion rates 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Lots of these are print-on-demand stores, poor mock-ups, average designs, right? You can't be suffering with a 1% conversion rate or below. 2% is what you're looking for, and if it's below, there's significant problems in your store. Okay, the next thing, and most of you won't know this, okay? Please listen to this. Right? This is critical because it's something that I tell you to do, okay? But you need to listen, really listen, okay? The more listings you have in your store, the lower your conversion rate will be. Now, I'm a huge advocate for listing more in your store. Just go and look yourself. Bigger stores sell more. It's a well-known fact. But because, you know, once you get to 200 listings, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 2,000, the conversion rate goes down because people just aren't going to buy into all of those products, right? It's just a fact. The more you put out there, the more risk there is that people aren't going to buy more products, okay? And your job is to get as many products as you possibly can to at least sell at some kind of volume, right? So just know it will go down. You can't hold a 4% conversion rate across 1,000 listings, 1,500, 2,000 listings. Most people can't. It does depend on what you sell, right? So just expect that. So if you've got 100 listings and your conversion rate is 3.5%, and then you go to 500 listings and your conversion rate is 2.5%, and you, oh, why does it happen? No, that's fine. That's totally normal. As long as you stay over 2%, it's all good, okay? Just know that. This is critical, right? Right, next one. Again, I don't know if you know this or not, but let's have a look. Conversion or conversion rate goes up in October to December significantly, okay? And you need to remember this when you're doing your calculations and working out your conversion rate. If you've got a conversion rate of say 2%, right? Between October and December, that'll go up to 2.5, 2.8, 3.1. You will get a significant lift, and it's simply because the number of customers coming into Etsy balloons. So many more customers are providing visits into your store and listings. But on top of that, right, here's the bit, the buying intent, the willingness to buy and spend the money, it goes way up because it's Christmas. They need to, they've got to, they want to, right? So everyone gets a bonanza, a conversion rate boost between October and December. So just take note of that. This is your golden opportunity to raise your yearly conversion rate. You know, you've got to be making more sales at Christmas. In fact, do you know what? This isn't even on my script. I have my script right there below the phone. This isn't even on the script. Let me tell you something. You should, in most niches, be making more sales in October, November, and December against the rest of the year combined. Okay, that's how powerful this season is. And you've got to grab that conversion rate and make those sales. So it goes up between October and December. Here's the next thing to know, and I think I've mentioned this recently, right? This puts it all in perspective. You get about 1.5 seconds to get that click, to get somebody into your listing, to then take them through your value proposition. And I'm going to talk about this in detail in the second part of this video. No stone is left unturned in this video. I'm going to spend all the time I need to get your conversion rate up. You get 1.5 seconds, right? So you know, if your image isn't compelling, if the message isn't clear, how on earth are you going to sell anything, right? 1.5 seconds, count it. 1.5, that's it, it's gone, it's gone. And they're scrolling on, you know, up and down with the mouse, and they've moved on. You've got to be compelling, which brings me to the last 2 points. And maybe you haven't thought of this, I don't know, let's have a look, right? Customers buy certainty, okay? Maybe you've heard of this. Customers buy certainty. So when you're looking to convert and someone sees your listing image, they need to be as certain as possible that it's you that they're looking for, right? You don't want to confuse people. Do you know how many people, how many images, listing images I look at where the primary thumbnail is confusing as hell? Too many props, sunlight, shadows, right? Customers buy certainty. Customers don't buy questions. They don't buy questions, right? So if your stuff is confusing, your photography isn't compelling and certain, you're just creating questions. You're blocking, you're making barriers to purchase, right? Customers buy certainty. And then the last point you need to know, this is what it's really all about. Customers buy trust. Okay? That is what this is all about. Right? Sellers often come, listen to this, sellers often come to me and say, Nick, you know, I do a pop-up, I do a market, I'm in a shop selling, they're selling their stuff in real life, right? And they say, I make loads of sales on a Saturday and a Sunday selling my jewelry, but it won't sell on Etsy, right? It won't sell. Now, yes, we need to look at the jewelry, right? And see, well, is it the right jewelry for Etsy? There's a certain demographic that buys loads of jewelry on Etsy, okay? But why do they sell in real life? Because it's a human being selling the jewelry. They're buying trust from the seller. How was the jewelry made? Oh, how long did it take you to make it? Oh, what's that bit there? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, where did you get the gemstones from? Oh, you're just buying trust. You spend 10 minutes talking about a necklace, it's sold, gone, out the door. And then other people are listening, aren't they? It's that old marketplace dynamic. People stood around buying stuff. Oh, yeah. They just get second-hand trust off of the first person buying, right? And then you have this ebb and flow, but we don't get any of that in Etsy, right? We don't get that. So that, we've got to give customers trust to get that conversion rate, right? That's what this is all about, buying trust, okay? So I hope this first section of the video was interesting to you. Let's now get into part 2 when we're going to look at 10 in-depth steps on how to improve your conversion rate. And I'm making a promise to you, if you do every one of these steps and your conversion rate hasn't improved, drop your store name in the comments and I will look at it and I'll tell you why. There's always a reason why. I improve conversion rates every day, every week, every month, have done for 10 years, and I can do the same for you. So let's get into part 2, how to improve your conversion rate. Okay, now we get to the bit that really matters, the bit that you've been waiting for, actually how to improve your conversion rate. So I'm going to give you 10 detailed steps, and your job is to implement as many of these 10 as you can. The more you do, the higher your conversion rate is going to go. It's as simple as that. And you need to be, if you're under 2%, right? If you're at sort of 1.5% or 1%, you should be aiming to get 0.5% or 1% rise out of all this work. Okay, so your goal is 2%. Okay, your goal is 2%. If you do all this work, seriously, if you do all this work and you are still not at 2%, just get in touch with me. I do the discovery thing at the end of every one of these videos. You need to get in touch with me. There's concrete reasons why you can't break 2%. Okay, 2%, look, it's not easy, but it's not that hard either. Okay, 2% is totally doable for all of you. All right, let's get into these 10 steps. A lot of these are going to be surprising to you. Maybe you haven't thought of a lot of them. Let's go. Step 1. This is the biggest point here out of all of them. And one, that doing this will immediately raise your conversion rate. Okay? You've got to swap out what doesn't sell. Okay? You've got to swap out what doesn't sell. Listen to me here, right? If you go into your shop manager and you start looking at listings that are just racking up views over years and not selling, that's a direct pull down and reduction of your conversion rate, right? Stuff that's just never selling, right? Listen to this. Don't worry about stuff that's been in your store 2 years, it's got loads of favorites but never sold. Who cares? Favorites are useless, right? Swap out stuff that doesn't sell. It immediately raises your conversion rate, immediately. Think about it. Let's say you've got 100 listings in your store and you add up all the views that those listings have got, right? Let's just say the views are, I don't know, 500, right? And they've never sold. Well, if you swap all those listings out, you're immediately removing non-converting views and bad products and replacing them with stuff that might work and Etsy hasn't seen before, right? And I recommend you leave stuff in your store about a year. And if you want to know more, I have a whole system for this. Join my academy, okay? And you can join that at any time. I'll put the link in the description of the video for the academy. This is huge. Instant rise for your conversion rate. depending on how many listings you've got, some people will say, oh, Nick, I've only got, I don't know, 10 listings that don't sell. Okay, well, still do it. All of those views added up are non-converting views. They're just lowering your conversion rate. A lot of you will have more, 20, 50, 100, or more, depending on the size of the store. Taking action on these just immediately raises your conversion rate. It's the simplest thing you can do. Nobody ever talks about this. In fact, nobody talks about conversion rate on YouTube. Really, that's why I'm doing this video. I thought, hang on a minute, no one talks about this, not in detail. So swap out what doesn't sell. That's gold. It's one of the easiest things you need to do. Yes, you've got to have a listing plan, a structure, but it's not difficult, okay? Second thing, loads of you don't do this, right? This is massive. Section, store, cross-sell, upsell, okay? These are the 4 links every one of your listings needs to have. You have to think of your listings in your store as a communication spider web, right? It's a communication spider web. If you just put your listings in your store, right, and you don't connect them to anything, they don't live in a section, right? You've got no store link. You haven't thought about a cross-sell link. What else can a customer buy if they're going to buy this from me? What else would they be interested in? Ah, yeah, they'd like that. That makes sense. What could I upsell to? Well, if they buy this, maybe they're interested in this. This product's $20, but they like the idea of that. Well, I've got something for 50 that works with that makes sense to buy that once you've bought this. This is emotional connectivity through communication connectivity with links, right? That's how you do this. So you need 4 links in every listing. Link to the section, so where the product comes from. And I've got a video on this. If you want to know how to do this, maybe you don't know, just type section store links into my YouTube search bar. The video comes right up. There's a complete explanation on this. I make all of this stuff as straightforward as possible for you. So 4 links, section and store, then a cross sell. Choose a product that makes sense for customers to buy along with this one. And I know you can do bundles on Etsy. That's another way to do it, right? Cross-sell and upsell, okay? Choose things, curate, be the curator, make the connections. You know your stuff, right? You know your products. Make it easy for customers to part with their money with you, right? Easy. These two, honestly, raise your conversion rate and easy to do. So that's the second one. Let's get into the third one. Right, this, I know that I've mentioned this word recently in one of my videos. And, this raises your conversion rate, without a doubt. Okay? Stronger product edge. Okay? You've got to be stronger in your value proposition to the customer. So when you're listing stuff and you're making stuff or you're designing stuff, right? Don't just make it. Write down 5 to 10 edges the product has. So why are people buying it? Maybe it's the color. Maybe the size is unique. Maybe it's the textures, the materials. The overall design's never been done before, right? It comes with extra bits that no one else does. You get freebies that no one else does. You've got to have a decent product edge suite. So multiple reasons why a customer, you need to have the mindset, the customer must be crazy not to buy from me. You're mad. Why would you buy from anyone but me? You need to be able to stand on that retail stage and be able to say that to all these customers on Etsy. You're mad if you don't buy from me. You've got to buy from me because my edge is stronger than everyone else. This is how you have to think about your listings, right? You can't just waltz in and go, yeah, I've done that. It's kind of like everyone else. That's garbage, right? The sellers doing the damage have product edge. They have product edge and you need it too. Several reasons why people should buy from you. Massive, massive way to improve your conversion rate. Right. Next one comes up every time and you'll go, oh God, Nick, I know. But I have to say, I'm going to give you another angle on this, okay? your photos, your mock-ups, your photos, right? This is what you need to answer to the customers, right? In your photos, you answer the question, why buy from you, right? Why buy from you? Why should I buy from you? It's kind of part of your product edge. When you've got your product edge, right? So you write down your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that make you better. You've then got to put it in your photos. You know, when you look at it like this, it's so simple, but so many of you don't do this, right? Get that edge, stuff it into your photos to answer the question, why should I buy from you? Right? One of my clients, she's got a beautiful, beautiful store, and inside some covers, some laptop covers, she's got personalization, right? But it just looks amazing. And she opens it, shows the personalization. It's like little gold squares spelling out a name. It just looks drop dead gorgeous, amazing. And that's her product edge, the detail, the level of quality inside, and she puts it in her photos. This is why you should buy from me, because my personalization is so amazing, and it is, right? Photos answer the question, why should people buy from you? Take the time, because if you don't get this right, you don't get your photography right and the connection right, well, no one's going to buy from you, right? Which leads me on to another one. And I know I talk about it, but you've got to do it. You've got to show your product in use. Let me explain what I mean here. If you sell jewelry, don't have, necklaces on busts, earrings on teacups, t-shirts laying on tables. That is not convincing the customer to buy from you. That's just showing a dead product in a non-familiar surrounding. If it's jewelry, it's got to be on a person. You need a model, right? Or be very, very good at mock-ups so that you can make it look like that and look decent, right? It's so simple. Show your product in use. That connects the customer. If customers, if we think about buying a necklace, well, we want to see it on a model so we can see the neckline, how it relates to clothing, the neck, the head, the face, right? You've got to see that. Just show your products in use. If you've got art, put it on a wall. Take photos and video on a wall. Don't have a mock-up with the art on a floor. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. How many houses have you been to where the owner has just got art on the floor? No one. It's so low. It's on a wall. It goes in the living room wall. It goes in the hallway on the wall, right? Show it in use. So simple and so effective. Right, next one. You want to sell more? Let's talk about price, right? You want to get that conversion rate up? So, physical products. Okay? Now, again, this won't apply to all of you, but most of you it should do. If you sell physical products and you want a decent conversion rate, sell in the $20 to $50 price range. You do that, you're going to make more sales, because Etsy customers come into Etsy to buy because Etsy is primarily a sub $100 marketplace. Most of the sales go off well under $100. If you look at the stores that have got 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 sales and more, they're most likely selling heavily in this space here, right? Now, I know not all of you can do it, but just try. The more products you've got in this range, this is a disposable income price range. There's no thinking. Anyone or most people can spend here without having to do too much thinking, right? And for digital, same thing, right? Digital, make sure your store has loads of stuff between $2 and $10, okay? That is the sweet spot. That's where all the thousands and thousands of purchases are being made at that price range. I don't mean you can't have more expensive stuff. Of course you can, but just focus on that price range. And as long as your designs are good and you're doing everything in this video, you will be rewarded. Let's get on to the next one then. This is something that needs explaining properly, because when I mention this, you're going to be thinking, oh yeah, here we go. But listen, it's not how you think I mean. So add lower prices not lower profit, okay? So when I say, look, having lower prices in your store means you're in an easier place for people to buy. So if you're selling physical stuff, even though I say look, be in the 20 to 50, because yeah, so many purchases are made there. If you have stuff at $8, $10, $12, adding that lower price makes it easier for people to purchase from you because it's cheaper, and easier to say, well, I bought that, oh, I'll just get that. You know, it's only another $8, right? I don't mean lower your profits. So don't sell stuff and then try and squeeze that price down to make it work for you. No, you don't want to do that. You choose appropriate products at those lower prices with the profit margin you want, right? So don't just squeeze it in. No, just create lower price products, less materials, simpler design, quicker to make. Whatever it is, whatever the algorithm is for you, don't lower your profit, just get the price lower and make the product fit the price. You will sell more. Your conversion rate will go up, right? So simple. Next one, right. I think 95% of sellers get this wrong, okay? And this is something, this stuff, none of it's difficult. Have you noticed you can do all this stuff? Most of this stuff you can do in a day or two, right? This one's huge. You need branded, I'll explain in a minute. Banner, store icon, and then, let me just see my notes. Yep, announcement, and about page. Okay, so now we're getting into convincing customers to buy from you, right? You need branded about page, store icon on the left-hand side, shop announcement, and about page text, photos, and video, right? If you opened a real life store, there is no way you wouldn't have the store branded, outside with a nice banner, inside store icons and branding, announcements about special offers, new products and sales, right? There's no way you wouldn't do that. And about, so information about what you do, it would be everywhere. That's your business. Etsy is no different. You've got to do the same thing. But pretty much every seller, I mean this, I would say it's so high, the failure rates, when I very rarely, when I audit stores, pass this. This is called shop setup, right? And I hardly ever pass anyone with this. The most common failing point for this is either no photos in the about page, definitely no video, right? Some people have put one or two photos in, they're not even branded, they're just a photo of a workshop or a product just sat there. Video, non-existent, it's not there. And if it is there, it's a really bad slideshow. You need to go and look at this. Brand your store correctly. If you brand your store correctly, more people are going to buy from you and your conversion rate goes up. One of the important things about Etsy is Etsy gives you this space to increase trust with customers. Customers look at this stuff. Definitely look at your about page. This is something you need to be doing, right? So here's the next one. We're down to the last two. This is super important, right? Number 9, you want to increase your conversion rate. All your listings need to go in sections. You need to create sections for your products and put every single one of them. Remember what I talked about, the communication spider web and the emotional spider web inside your store. Put the listings in sections. Put the links inside those listings to those sections, and you're just making it easier for people to buy from you. Here's this section, here's that. Right, I can buy this, I can buy that, right? Just make it easy. The amount of people that don't even do this or don't have enough sections, they'll have like 4 sections for 200 listings. You've got to break it open, make it easy for customers to find what they need. Listings in sections, straightforward, but so many people don't do it. Here's number 10. And this is something I think I maybe mentioned once, okay? This is what this is all about. You have to be your customer's best bet, okay? Being a customer's best bet means that amongst all the competition and whatever they look at, you have convinced them through everything I've told you today that actually, yeah, you are the person to spend the money with. It should be you. because I feel comfortable. I trust you. You've made me trust you. You are my best bet. I am going to spend my money with you. You have to look at everything you've done and say, am I truly this customer's best bet? You're looking for a yes here. If you can get a yes, you're in good standings to make that conversion. So I want to know in the comments, first of all, tell me your conversion rate. What is it? 0.5%, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me your conversion rate and tell me if you're going to do this, okay? Take the challenge, right? I have shown you things you need to know about conversion rate and how to increase it. This will get you 0.5%, 1% or more, right? Do it, try it, and come back and tell me. Tell me if you're going to do this. This is what I'm here for, to help you. And as always, if you want to work with me, if this hasn't convinced you to work with me, I don't know what will. The book in now button's coming up. It takes you to a calendar booking link to book a one-to-one Zoom call with me so I can explain how in paid consultations and mentoring and my academy to help build a better Etsy store for you. I look forward to catching you in the comments and catching you in the consultations. Cheers.